I have been on Instagram for over 7 years and I managed to grow my audience to over 130,000 followers. To be honest, I have learned a lot along the way and I also entered my flop era. But in 2024, I decided to take the reins back in and try and fall back in love with Instagram. Honestly, I went from being like kind of a trending artist where a lot of my posts would do so well. I'd get over 13,000 likes on some of my posts and then entered my flop era. I literally have been in a flop era for the last like maybe 2 to 3 years, and I feel like I'm not just the only artist who has experienced this as well. I have seen consistently across the board so many people share that their Instagram has been declining and they've been losing followers and literally felt so disheartened and fallen out of love with Instagram. And I was one of those people as well. I like completely fell out of love with Instagram, and it used to be one of my favorite platforms to communicate on and to grow on. A few months ago, I decided to try and rekindle my love with Instagram. And for the first time in years and years, I've actually seen a growth in my Instagram following. Like seriously, I've been consistently losing thousands of followers. Even though I've been growing as well, I've kind of slowly been declining because new followers have been coming in dribs and drabs. But because I've been losing so many followers, I've kind of been staying at the same follower count for a very long time. And finally, literally within the last 60 days, I've actually broke into the 140k follower count, which has been something I haven't been able to do for the last 2 or 3 years. So I thought it'd be interesting to sit down with you guys today and share my strategies that I've been doing to try and rekindle my love for Instagram and grow my Instagram account. So let's get into it, shall we? Alright, I want to talk about the rise and the beginning of my Instagram journey. So I feel like I was a little bit late to the Instagram game. I think I opened my Instagram account in around about 2016. I actually opened my small business in 2015 and opened my Instagram account afterwards. And slowly over the course of the years, I started like taking part in community challenges, daily drawing prompts, and also I spent hours and hours and hours actually scrolling through Instagram. It was like my favorite platform at the time to go on to connect with other artists, because when I was starting to grow my small business, I actually started on Facebook and used to do like Facebook groups and like crafting groups and stuff, but I realized that wasn't really my right target market. And then I found myself on Instagram finding these other artists that were already smashing out there and also were a great inspiration to me. So then I started like spending literally hours of my life on Instagram. It's actually crazy really. And I really wanted to grow my Instagram account and try and connect with other people to share my work. And also at the time, my illustration style was terrible. So I also needed to find a way to get better illustrating. So right at the very beginning, I used to post every single day. And I remember on my break, on my full-time job at 10 o'clock, I would post like at my 10 o'clock break or my dinner break while I was at work. And I would post things like quotes, behind the scenes, and things that I was doing in my small business on like a weekend. And the one thing I did post a lot of was Katnipp comics. I started doing them about a year or two into Instagram. And also I started doing daily drawing prompts, which I've actually tried to bring back. Can't do anymore because my business has grown quite a lot more. It is harder for me to do daily drawings, but at the time I wanted to grow my style. So I used to take part in daily drawing challenges. So I would just draw every single day pretty much, and I'd post it onto Instagram. And I will say, I feel like I peaked in Instagram, or the peak of Instagram for me was around about 2018 and 2019. These were when my posts got the most engagement, and to be honest, I had a lot less followers then. However, my engagement was really high. And I feel like I was just kind of, people were finding me. And there was also another group of illustrators at the time that I noticed who were also going through the same sort of thing. And funnily enough, some of those illustrators are now seeing the results I'm seeing, where it's just like a max exodus of followers, a massive decline in engagement. And I think there's a few different reasons for this. So my flop era has kind of, I feel, been like from 2021, I would say, is when the decline really started happening, to 2024. So the last like 3 years, I've kind of like plateaued and then started slowly declining. So seeing a decline in engagement, and not just my engagement but my followers as well, but also a decline in my personal love for Instagram. Honestly, I started slowly declining. I don't know whether other people did as well, or maybe they were getting burnt out, or maybe they just didn't enjoy it. I'm not sure, but that's when I started it. So enter my floppy era. Now, I feel like there's some things that contributed towards this. So number one was TikTok, the introduction of TikTok and how quick and growing that was. And then Instagram started introducing Reels. I think this made a lot of artists, me included, have to pivot really fast, but then also feel exhausted. I feel like I'd worked so hard and finally cracked the code of Instagram and how to grow and how to engage, that suddenly there was this huge pivot and I had to learn it all over again. And quite frankly, it felt exhausting. I was like, oh man, I've just spent years and hours of my life trying to grow my Instagram, finding a strategy that works for me, and then it can just be like changed just like that. A blink of an eye, an algorithm change, and then a new strategy needs to put into place. But if I'm being totally honest with myself, I think that's life in general, not just Instagram. And as much as I love to moan about it, I think you have to always be pivoting and changing, as exhausted as it is. But I will say that at the time, I just wasn't mentally ready. My business was actually doing really well, and also I was focusing a lot on my YouTube channel as well, and I was growing my YouTube channel. So I kind of like just thought, I really can't be bothered to pivot. So I would post reels and stuff here and there, but I wasn't really thinking about growth or Instagram strategy, and I kind of just plateaued. And then there was also another reason why I think I entered my flop era. Number two was I stopped sharing illustrations as much. I stopped taking part in daily illustration challenges because simply I just didn't have time to post every single day anymore. My business had started growing. If you watch the YouTube vlogs and you see the business vlogs, you'll see that my business was growing. I also found a lot of love here on YouTube, even though these YouTube videos take a lot longer to film and edit. It is something that I absolutely love doing, and I just feel like I can connect with you guys and share my thoughts more with you guys here on YouTube. So I feel like I was slowly like putting Instagram to the side, and it became just like an extra thing, like, oh, I better post on Instagram today, and not really engaging in there like I used to right at the beginning. Because right at the beginning I genuinely loved being on there all the time, and I would like engage for hours and hours and hours, which is such a waste of my life really. And I think that also comes with the floppy era as well, and I think people are realizing, getting tired of the constant like feed of information, of trying to grow, of trying to build followers. I think people are just getting tired of it. It's just like, am I really going to be spending hours worrying about like followers, strategies, how to grow? And I just wasn't engaging in the platform at all. Like I was barely keeping up on Instagram. I was getting shown stuff in my feed that I wasn't interested in, and I just kind of fell out of love with it, and I just wouldn't look. I'd just go on it, post something and like ghost it, post and ghost it. Honestly, I think that all contributed to me losing followers and losing momentum on Instagram. Not just that, there's other reasons you can lose, and people actually commented this on my Instagram post. There's other reasons like clearing out spam bot accounts, which is clearly what you want. So although it's an arbitrary number, you see your followers go down, it could just be like completely spam accounts, which I am totally for. Get rid of all spam bot accounts that somehow end up on my page. I don't even know how these find your page, I don't know, but other people obviously who may have been like art accounts or business accounts shutting down and deleting their page or deactivating their page. So I think all of these combined, I definitely think it was a mix of myself and falling out of love with Instagram during this period, particularly between like 2021 to 2022 to 2023. This period I just completely like fell out of love with Instagram and was barely engaging on there. However, this is where kind of my pivoting and my reshift mindset and this year is changing. So back about 3 or 4 months ago, I decided to start giving myself challenges and to try and fall back in love with Instagram again. Because I was more using Instagram, I realised, on my personal account, which was Katnipp, and I still enjoyed connecting with people on there. It's just on Katnipp, it felt like a bit of a chore. And because I was entering my flop era and just seeing all this decrease, I will admit it kind of did ruin my enjoyment of posting. But then I realised like, whoa, am I just posting posting for likes then? Have I just fell into the Instagram hole where I'm like, oh, well, this piece didn't engage. And then it was also making me fearful of posting because I was like, well, no one likes this piece. What if they don't like this piece? What if they don't like this piece? What if they don't like this reel and it flops? And then it stopped me from posting all the time, honestly. And then I was like, this isn't the be all and end all. I can't believe I'm letting numbers and figures and likes dictate what I post and connect with other people, because that's not what I originally started with Instagram. I had genuinely had a love for Instagram, and I used to post things that made me laugh, was funny, but then I realized I was doing this over on Catherine K. I was like liking memes, I was chatting to people, I was liking things that I love, like in my personal life, like Disney, travel. And then I decided to look back at Katnipp and try and like remember why I started in the first place, and to try and re-love it again and stop worrying about like numbers. Like, it doesn't matter. When I really am honest with myself and think about it, I remember back in 2019 or somewhere along those lines, when my Instagram was doing really well, I'm thinking to myself, this isn't gonna last. Like, this momentum isn't gonna last. You always see these people who trend and then they kind of disappear or whatever. I feel like I was scared that I would do that, or I was scared to enter my Floppy Era, and then I entered my Floppy Era, and then I realized, oh, this isn't that bad actually. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is having fun and connecting with my audience, and obviously making sales for my business, having people who genuinely want to follow along in the world of Katnipp, they enjoy seeing the characters and they have fun seeing the characters. So this year in 2024, I decided, right, I need to stop worrying about the numbers so much and stopping that holding me back, because it was stopping me posting. It was honestly stopping me posting the things I wanted to post because I was scared it wouldn't do well. Now I don't care. People are literally scrolling and see you post for a couple of seconds, tap, like, smile, move on, honestly. So the fact that I was putting so much weight and thought into one single Instagram post was ridiculous to me. And I had to remember what my ultimate goal was for the Instagram. And there was a few different things actually. Number one though, if I'm being totally honest and think about the real reason that I am growing Instagram and why I want to connect with other people, it is to promote my artwork. It is to try and reach new people who will love the world of Katnipp and help grow my small business, to tell a story, to show the behind the scenes of growing my small business genuinely brings them joy and happiness. And I think most small artists want to make this, or small business owners want to make this their goal. They want to get sales into the door and connect with their brand. They want to reach out with like-minded people so that they can connect with them, and also they want to be inspired as well. So a lot of people that I personally follow, I want to be inspired by them. I follow so many different artists who inspire me. So there's a few things that I've done in the last few months that has finally made me grow my followers over time from 137k, which I was stuck at, to 140,000. So number one is focusing on my audience, focusing on connection and trying to post things that tell a story. So what I've started doing is treating my reels more like stories as well, and also sharing my thoughts, sharing the behind the scenes of Katnipp again, sharing stories and bringing back my Katnipp comics. I've been doing my drawing prompts. If you don't know, I've been giving myself a challenge, although I'm very behind on the August ones. I haven't even started yet, let's not talk about it. And letting other people use my drawing prompts list so they can do it, and then you can enter the world of Katnipp again by seeing these little pictures. Also a lot of behind the scenes of growing the small business and growing the world of Katnipp. Which brings me on to my next point, which is letting go of perfectionism. One thing that actually TikTok has shown me is that people like authenticity, and I think so many people are starting to get sick of the really over filmed and over perfect like reels, and I think that still has a place. I have to be honest, I do personally really love aesthetic like reels and TikToks and posts. I think they're really inspiring. It's lovely to look at something beautiful, but it's also nice to have a dose of reality as well. One thing that was holding me back from posting as well, perfectionism. I was trying to get my posts so perfect, so aesthetic, so pretty, and I was letting that hold me back. Like I was like, this post isn't good enough, I'm not going to post it, and now I'm just going to post it. Honestly, I'm just letting go of perfectionism. You do hear quality over quantity. But honestly, in my case, this doesn't work for me because I feel like this holds me back because I never feel like anything is quality. Do you know what I mean? I never feel like anything's good enough. So this advice actually doesn't work for me. So take what you will. But yet people are only spending a few seconds looking at this post, like literally, and then it's forgotten about. Like honestly, that's how it is. They don't look at the post as often as we look at the post. Like I've looked at my Instagram post like several times looking at the same post over and over again. Other people don't do that towards your post. At least I don't look at someone's post over and over and over and over again, but we do that with our own, thinking that's what other people will do, but they don't. They're literally looking at that post for a few seconds. So I needed to reduce my friction of posting consistently, because one thing I wanted to do was the next point, post consistently again, because that's something I was not doing. So a little bit of how to reduce friction is I just went back to filming the majority of the content on my phone again. So getting rid of the DSLR camera, because I'd have to film it in vertical, I'd then put it into Final Cut Pro, I'd edit it, and then I'd put it up, and then that whole friction process was just a nightmare. Now I have my phone and I record, and I also bought one of these little moss stands, which I actually seen another artist share about, and this is a magnetic stand that clips to the back of your phone like this, not sponsored or anything by the way, and it becomes a tripod. Ta-da! So I can prop it down wherever I am. I could be in a coffee shop, I could be out in the studio, it also can be for vlogging and filming, and I can use it as like a little, I can film my stuff on it. So this reduces the friction of me posting because I can just film, shoot and go, and then post it. So I've let go of perfectionism, and I've also, sorry, I dropped my little cushion pillow and it's really cozy. And I've also tried to reduce the friction so it's easier for me to post consistently. Now, I do still want to do those beautiful reels and stuff, but when I don't have time, my good old phone camera reduces that friction, and it's such good quality now, honestly. Most phones are, and having things like this stand help me so much, so then I don't have to put it in a clippy thing, put it on a tripod film, move it, put it on another tripod film. Also, another thing I have been doing, which I'm not sure anyone's aware of these or whether I'm just really late to the game, and I only found out about these a few months ago, but Instagram actually has in their platform their own like challenges that you can take part on. Now, some people might love this and some people might hate this. I actually personally love it because it gamifies kind of posting content in general. So if you click on professional dashboard and you go down to achievements, and it says your tools, you will see like a bunch of achievements that you can create and challenges that you can challenge yourself to. So a Reels creation challenge, for example, post some Reels challenge, post creation challenge, and daily story challenges. I have been taking part in these, and I actually find it really fun because it gives you the achievement at the end, and I feel like satisfied because I'm actually getting an achievement. It's ridiculous, but it also gamifies it and makes it a little bit more fun. Some people might love these, some people might hate them. Take what you will. I personally like it. As I'm editing this video, I'll also say that I watched a video with Ali Abdaal where he talks about dopamine addiction. He broke this all down into a video. It's very, very interesting. So I know this sort of thing is definitely something that Instagram has implemented to keep you posting on the platform and keep you kind of addicted to the platform. But if we're just talking about pure growth strategies as an artist on Instagram, this is something that I have been implementing. So yeah, take with it what you will, and be mindful about the time you're spending on the platform, and it is just a bit of fun and it's not that serious at the end of the day, is it? Let's face it. Because I feel things to feel like a bit of a game, and it feels like a little bit of a challenge to myself. So this has actually been really cool. It actually has been working well for me, so I've been enjoying taking part in these. The next thing I have been doing is saving other reels that I've seen in my niche that I've done well, that I use in like trends or anything, and I've been reposting those trends. I normally save these in the bookmarks on my phone. There's like a little tab for those of you who don't know, and I actually have a little column of all different things that inspire me, quotes, and business reel inspiration. And then I'll do this when I'm out of ideas or I'm in a rush. So I'll save these like trends so I can just post to keep up my challenge and to keep posting consistently. And I'll try and limit these to like 1 or 2 a week maximum, because I really don't want to just be relying on like trends and stuff like that. I want to build a connection with my audience. However, if I'm feeling a bit uninspired that day or really busy, these trends and inspirational reels that I've saved can be a much easier way of me posting that day, and takes a little bit of the effort off because I don't have to create anything from scratch. Weekends are a great example for these. I have like a folder in my phone which has loads of B-roll that I've saved over years called Katnipp Edited. It's actually called in my album, and it's all color graded and edited, and I've saved them over months and months and months, and I'll add these to maybe the trending reel or audio. So on a weekend it doesn't take much effort for me, and I'll use one of these just as like a filler post. And last but not least in my strategy now going forward, and why I think I've been growing again, is I stopped comparing myself to others. Like, it's so easy to get so overwhelmed and think, oh well, their Instagram post is so much cooler than mine, their art is so much cooler than mine. I really try to stop comparing myself to other people. Everyone's journey is totally different, and I should just focus on people who genuinely love Katnipp, and they are the people I want to focus on. And I just want to keep sharing things that make me happy and hopefully make other people happy, and also share my journey and the growth behind Katnipp and how I'm growing each and every week and year and month. Comparing myself to others isn't gonna help anyone. Comparison is a thief of joy, as they say, and it really is very, very true. So the results after I put all this into place, as you guys know, we have managed to do it. It's actually been growing. So that has been basically how I have been approaching Instagram lately, and I have to admit I am having a lot more fun with it. And letting go, I think, of perfectionism has been one of the main things that has really, really helped. And I have been feeling a lot more inspired to post, and it's been showing, ironically. And I didn't go in with this with the intention of growing initially. It was just going in with trying to rebuild my love for it and just focusing on my audience and seeing what happens. For the first time ever, because I'm starting to love it again, I'm starting to engage in it again, we have actually seen it grow for the first time in years. I'd like to keep up with it, and I'd like to just keep going and having fun. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to stick around because we post videos every single week about growing here at Katnipp Studios, and I'll see you next week when it'll be a studio vlog, and we'll be getting to work on the Halloween collection and also getting a very smelly sofa in the studio. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. I love you.